Well, family and friends shared their fond memories of the renowned human rights lawyer Priscilla Jana at a funeral service in Lenasia, south of Johannesburg. She passed away on Saturday at the age of 76. President Cyril Ramaphosa declared Jana's funeral a special provincial official category 2. In this regard, President Ramaphosa has authorized that the national flag be flown at half-mast at every flag station in Gauteng province. The president says that she was an outstanding and fearless human rights lawyer who devoted her practice to fighting the apartheid regime, defending a broad range of struggle leaders and asserting the rights of marginalized South Africans. Jana was a former member of Parliament and South African ambassador to the Netherlands and Ireland. All right, we are now joined on the line by the Deputy Minister for Women, Youth and People with Disabilities, Professor Hlengiwe Mkhize, to take us through the times and life of struggle icon Priscilla Jana in her political career. A very good afternoon to you, Minister. Thank you so very much for joining us here on SABC News.
Thank you, Flo, for having me. Good afternoon to the listeners.
Minister, let's talk about some of the tributes that have really sort of poured in for Priscilla Jana and really about her contribution. I look at the title of her autobiography, Fighting for Mandela, the explosive autobiography of the woman who helped to destroy apartheid. Is that really a fitting tribute, and how we would describe her? Someone who really did try to fight and fought against an unjust system.
Well, it's difficult to talk about a person within a week, but maybe just to create a picture. You know, Priscilla Jana was a very powerful woman with a good, I mean, she had a height, she was tall, hefty, but also very strong intellectually and beautiful. She had many qualities going for her. It's not surprising that when she came back from India in 1979, she set up an office which was dedicated, a legal office with a special focus on fighting the abuse of power by the apartheid regime. And of course, she used the anger of human rights a lot when fighting her cases. And she connected with quite a number of structures between 1979 and 1994. I think she's one of those who contributed the most. You know, she defended cases not only in the vicinity of Johannesburg, but all over the country. People will refer cases to her or discuss cases with her. And she always laughed and said, well, I'm associated with big names. But we all know cases of ordinary people. She picked them up, she advised, she guided. You could call and say, Eshowe, Emelmoth, there's this. People who were struggling against apartheid in small towns. Nobody really took them seriously. I remember, you know, we were mobilized around the time when she started the office to give some special reports to defend young activists who have committed crimes at that time against the state in the definition of the apartheid regime. Yeah. She will look at the report that has been crafted, especially by psychologists and social workers, and, you know, was brave enough to say, this won't really go far in court. She will literally work with that person day and night in ensuring that the report will stand in a court of law. But, you know, also what I just remember is that Priscilla didn't only defend ordinary people legally. I mean, she had this thing of cooking too much food. When you ask, why too much food? Who is going to eat? And then she'd say, but most activists who come and want to see me. They don't have a place to sleep and they don't have food. So she developed the skill of cooking. I remember even when I came after her at the Netherlands, there was this high hope as to, oh, we want to see who cooks better, you and Priscilla.
Yeah.
Luckily, I knew where her cooking skill came from. I didn't want to compete. I didn't want to join her. I said, people who are employed by the embassy to cook, they will cook. I'm not gonna be in competition with. So really, her life is, she's one of those who gave it all. I mean, not only her intellect, the legal knowledge, but also even opening her house with of course, a network of other human rights lawyers from the community to make sure that activists are secured. I know she used to say, when you say, but what's your worst scenario? Is to lose a case in court, or what is it? She would say, I always fear one thing, that they mustn't bomb my house.
Yeah.
But regarding caring and fighting, she did it in a way which we still have to sit down and analyze. Where have we lost it? Why are we not defenders of human rights? If people like Priscilla.
Prof. Mkhize, one of the things that she seemed to really be quite passionate about and really advocating for is, the rights of women and children. And as Deputy Minister of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities, I really want to talk about that contribution and whether we can really sort of draw parallels. As you talk about her, I then also think about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who recently passed away as well in the US. And I wonder if, parallels can be drawn between the two really strong, powerful women.
Well, there were not many women who could stand up and be counted, and especially when it comes to gender equality issues, because at the time everybody was focusing on race as a factor. I mean, both those two women, they have one thing in common. In Ginsburg's word, not to rely on the crowd. Priscilla, personally, I would say she's a person who some people thought she was arrogant, because she had too many things going for her.
Yeah.
But her association with FEDRO here, the Federation of Women here in the Transvaal, had a lot to do with the fight for the rights of children and the youth. She's one of those who will go all over, not only for those who were in court, but those who were displaced from the communities, and follow them through and take statements and get to know where they are, what is happening with them. And that's where some will end up squatting or hiding in her house, which was not a massive house, but was a shelter in a way for people. So we have to continue doing what they did. In 1994, I must say, she helped a lot towards the signing of the Convention on the Rights of the Child by 1995. And many other pieces of legislation that we took, which amended the laws of the apartheid regime, which were neutral when it comes to gender equality. So they were not amended just to make sure that they are not racist, but also that they bring the values of the Constitution, the equality clause, very strongly. So we are grateful for her contribution. And as a women's ministry, it's very, very important for us not to lose focus on the contribution of such.
All right. Minister, Deputy Minister, we thank you so very much We thank you so very much for giving us your time and for that lovely tribute that you've paid to, your colleague, your friend, it seems, as well. And condolences to the family and friends, and you included, and indeed on the loss of Priscilla Jana. Thank you very much for giving us your time, Deputy Minister.